it's Lauren, and I am here to talk to you about something a little different than I usually talk to you about. I usually do prenatal vlogs, but today I am doing a video by request about the sympto-thermal method of fertility charting. Now, I'm not claiming to be an expert at this. I'm not, but I did learn, I did take a class, and my husband and I have been charting our fertility since January. So I just thought I'd give the information that I do know, maybe as an intro video. And if you had any further questions, then you could comment, or maybe I can make a follow-up video. I just thought I'd give you a little taste of the sympto-thermal method. So enjoy this video. Here I go. Start with, what is the sympto-thermal method? Well, it's a method of fertility charting using 3 measures. The first measure is your basal body temperature. That's your temperature upon waking up every morning. You can take your basal body temperature with a basal thermometer. Go figure. Here's my thermometer. And you can buy them at most drugstores. Walmart has them. I got mine through the people I did the class with, but you don't have to. You can get them anywhere. So, basal body temperature, that's the first one, the first measure. The second measure is your cervical mucus. And this is about to get a little gross, so if you're a little squeamish, just cover your ears. Cervical mucus is the mucus inside your vagina. And if you notice, ladies, sometimes you pee and there's like a lot of mucus going on down there, and sometimes there's nothing, sometimes it feels slippery, like it changes throughout the cycle. Yeah, so that mucus, there's actually different kinds, believe it or not, like there's actually characteristics, and it is related to your fertility. Cool. So, temperature, cervical mucus, I'll go into detail of all these things later. Finally is your cervix, your actual cervix. And that is inside your vagina also, and it's like a little donut button thing, and I will show a picture of it. That is what the cervix looks like. It's kind of like a little donut. And you feel that, and depending on how hard it is, where it's lying in your body, like, I mean, obviously it's not going to go up to your chest or anything. A woman's fertility cycle has 3 phases. Phase 1 is an infertile phase. Phase 2 is a fertile phase. And phase 3 is infertile again. Now, there's this beautiful chart in my book, which I'm going to go ahead and try to show you.
This may be difficult to see, but this is the beautiful chart that I was talking about. So phase 1 is an infertile phase. The blues are infertile. You probably can't read that. This little red spot right here is your menstruation. So that's your period. You get your period, you're infertile for a little bit. Then your fertility begins. And then you ovulate. And that's when you release, that's when your egg is like ready to be fertilized. And then you're fertile a little bit after that. And then you're infertile, and that's phase 3. So hopefully you can see that beautiful chart. Remember this chart because it's so important. Okay, be back.
Okay, so now that we're done looking at that gorgeous chart, I'm going to tell you that you can figure out which phase you're in based on these measures. I don't know what to call them. So I will show you what measures indicate that you are fertile or not fertile, okay? So the first one is the temperature method. And I forgot to say this, but the sympto-thermal method, the reason it's called sympto-thermal is because it's temperature and cervical signs, the mucus and the cervix itself. Cervix. So the temperature. You take your temperature every single morning, and you try to do it at the same time every morning. But, you know, you put it under your tongue. Okay? And you put your temperature on a chart. Now, I'm sure you can make a chart on your own. But my chart came with the class that I took, and whoa, that's blurry. But I will try to show you on my other camera.
Alright, so if you see at the top of the chart, it says day of cycle 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very blurry, sorry. Anyway, you go ahead and take your temperature. Now, I didn't take my temperature the first few days of my period because I knew I was infertile. I just started at the end of my period, right here. So that says 98.2, you can't read it. But then the next day is 97.7. And you just go on, you can see all my temperatures. Now, the way you determine when you're fertile is called your peak. My peak was very obvious. Not every woman's peak is that obvious. You look for 6 temperatures that are lower than 3. And I don't know if that makes sense, so I'll show you. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all below 1, 2, 3. So even though this is a descending slope, didn't know you were getting math in here, didn't you? Even though this is descending slope, this is my peak because I had the 6 lower and then the 3 higher. The reason you want 3 higher is because you can have a false peak. You might have, you know, an abnormal temperature. Maybe you're sick and you see it peak, and then the next day it might go drop right back down. But if you are high for 3 days, then you know for sure it's a peak. Anyway, point is that this is when my fertility started, right in here, during that peak. Because
Okay, so if that went over your head completely, I'm not a very good explainer when I'm like trying to hold a camera and stuff. But if that went over your head, that's okay, because I can make a whole video on that if you want that information. Since this is just kind of a give you a glimpse of it sort of video, I don't think it's important that I go into so much detail. I will if you want me to. I'd be glad to. Second sign is the cervical mucus. And this one's a little yucky, but I will have to show you with pictures. Less fertile mucus. This is the cervical mucus. You can wipe with toilet paper and then, you know, get it between your fingers like this. And when you get it between your fingers, if it breaks easily and is tacky and does not stretch, that's not fertile mucus. The more fertile mucus is more like raw egg whites, and it's very stretchy. So, for example, it'll be sticky. It'll stick to the top of your finger and it won't break. It's very stretchy. That's more fertile mucus. We're moving right to the cervix. It's a little bit difficult to find in some women because some women it's very high. But if you stick your finger in like this direction, like see how I'm facing, and then push it this direction, like towards your back, that's where you're going to find it. It's not going to be towards the front, it's going to be towards your back. So you go in there and feel for your cervix. If your cervix is soft and open, that means you're fertile because your cervix wants sperm. So if, however, it's hard and closed, that's an infertile sign. Now the reason this is difficult, A, is finding that cervix, but B is because every woman is different. Every woman is, like, I can't say, oh, hard feels like this and soft feels like this, because it's relative. You have to know for yourself. You have to maybe do 2 months of just feeling your cervix to get an idea of what hard is, what soft is, what open is, what closed is. And it takes a little bit to get a knack for it, but this sign it's really cool because it's very accurate.